Sideline of goal! Late Widow's doing it! They're gonna take it! He's gonna bring down Bernie. Alone with a double kill. Dropping fast. Bonavoid's there. He's still alive! Wait, seconds left. He's got one side. He's got a second. He's taking it out. They're overtime on three! They're all dead!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Summit 2 by G2A.com. America, we are in day number 8. I think that's right. 8? 8? Are you still watching Starladder? I have no co-caster today. From everyone, of course, watching the Starladder final, which is happening right now, game number 5. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you have to go and check it out as well. It's pretty action-packed. It's a pretty serious game, I'm sure. I will enjoy the VOD later. My gnome friend will enjoy it live, apparently, on his laptop that he brought with him. I've gone crazy. Anyways, for game number 2 today of our 5-game day, 5 best of ones here, our next matchup is going to be Infinity Stack or Infinity +4, and they're going to be taking on Complexity. So let's go ahead and just hop into the draft so you can see what the hell I'm talking about right now. And just to compare, the current Dota 2 Lounge odds for this particular game is going to be 73% in favor of Complexity to Infinity's 27%. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen already from both these teams, if I was a rare betting kind of a guy, I would probably put a value bet on Infinity. They've pulled out some pretty nice upsets, and they look pretty damn good. If you just want to know for comparison as far as how their records actually look right now, let me go ahead and bring it up right here for you, folks. Complexity is in second right now. They're sporting a 4-1 record. They did fall recently to Team Leviathan, but yesterday they bounced back pretty hard. They put on a stomping. I believe it was to Sna. Let me see if I can find it here. It might have been to
10
Stay
seconds
Free. I'm not too sure. They won yesterday, though. They put on a pretty strong show. It was almost near 30K net with advantage for them. And, well, they're still looking really, really good. Remember, they are in LA currently in their boot camp, so they're taking this shit very, very seriously. And, well, on the Complexity, sorry, that was on the Infinity side, they are 3-2. So they're well up there. They're currently sporting a tie between the third and fourth place themselves and Team Leviathan, both being 3-2. A team that also just kind of came together, and they seem to be making it work. You know, of course, Sna's been playing on the team, formerly of the Sneaky Nyx Assassins, has currently found a home with them. Infinity, the named player for the team, usually their mid laner, has been showing strong dominance with a Brewmaster, which they actually banned out this go-around, and now will be probably sporting the Razor. And SN, who's been playing their carry role, does love to play Morphling a lot, and that's probably part of the reason why you're going to see Complexity ban out the Morphling right here, just because they don't want to be dealing with that. But a formidable carry nonetheless. Let me go ahead and just make sure I have all this shit popped up. Yep. All right, you're all looking at my gnome. Look at the game. Great, fantastic. They also ban out what looks like the Nature's Prophet. They don't have to worry about too much split push action, it would seem. But with the Abaddon right there, things get a bit interesting. I mean, already the shield will be able to remove the silence out, and it can kind of aid from afar with the Chronosphere. Abaddon offensively, though, is not going to be contributing a whole lot as it looks, especially on the outside of a Chronosphere, and if he gets caught out. The good thing he has going for them that if they do decide to make the jump and try to take down Abaddon once he reaches his level 6, you know, it's the same thing like a Wraith King. It's just kind of, you're wasting extra time to try to take down a hero that's not really contributing a whole lot as it is. He's more so there just using his tools to kind of aid and about everyone else on the team. They could amplify this a bit further by grabbing the Necrophos that we've seen a couple of teams do. I believe EG was one of the main pioneers of that, but Necrophos in general has been seeing crazy amounts of big plays. But also they need to consider someone who contribute from the outside of a Chronosphere. And right as I finish that thought, Witch Doctor gets grabbed by Infinity. And not only does he still sport a nice bluish, purplish hue theme along with the rest of his team, but that Death Ward can do some serious work from the outside, of course, of that Chronosphere. So even if Faceless Void commits, makes the big jump, let's say, which he'll be looking for. I mean, they have the Skywrath Mage, Faceless Void, pork chops and applesauce kind of a combo right here, where you just kind of do the, you know, the setup and the spike with the Mystic Flare. Remaining. You have a Death Ward now that, with proper positioning, can kind of ruin the day here of Faceless Void. And now he might have to consider getting something like a BKB or something, having to deal with it. Though the Void will, the Death Ward rather, will still be able to do huge amounts of damage. So I really like the grab right there. That's going to be their second support, and they both have huge restoration. Now, complexity, I would strongly urge the idea of an ancient apparition now for their secondary support. That Ice Blast could just render Abaddon's ability and Witch Doctor's restoration useless to heal. And I think it could do an excess amount of work, because Razor's also a mech grab, but they're not going to do it.
Pick.
They can't have, I guess, two selfless supports. I mean, Skywrath Mage is not one already who needs to build up a lot of farm. I think I talked about this a bit last game, but you know, where they did run with two selfless supports, and that was Gurg Squad doing the Lich, as well as, oh god, what else did they run with? I'm losing my mind. They ran with two selfless supports, none of them who could be very greedy. Like a Sand King can be extra greedy. He'll have to use up the jungle, build up his Blink Dagger, and then he just kind of becomes one of the best supports you can ask for in a game. The huge gap closer, being able to blink forward, burrow strike. Sandstorm works fantastically in the jungle to get that early reliable farm, and of course Epicenter adds a whole lot to a team fight contribution, and he can even use that Epi inside of a Chronosphere if needed. So to work with, or actually I guess against that, Infinity respond by grabbing one of the best offlaners in the game right now. They get a hold of Centaur Warrunner, and that Stampede can help your team quickly get away from an Epicenter. So it's a nice quick counter just like that. I think I just heard K-pop like scream. He's probably watching Starlighter as well. Damn guy. But I like it. I like it on the return. Now, he obviously can't do a whole lot with the Chronosphere, but he is going to be there defensively to hopefully get away from any incoming damage. Or obviously using offensively to try to get a hold of someone and chase down maybe a weaker Skywrath Mage or even Sand King or what have you. So, you know, it's not too shabby of a draft, and without complexity grabbing the benefit of that Ancient Apparition, because, I mean, just to not like go off on a tangent, but being able to remove that heal is huge. Faceless Void sets up for a great Ice Blast as well. And, of course, Chilling Touch can work nicely on a Faceless Void who already is going to have huge attack speed with a Mask of Madness. And it could work with their core, which it looks like their core is going to be Sniper. And it more than likely is going to be a mid lane Sniper. We've seen Swindlemelons play this hero very recently here in the Summit to America, and he actually did really good work with it. Now, the gap closing ability is still somewhat there for Infinity stacks, obviously with the Stampede of Centaur. But Razor is just kind of more relying on move speed to get a hold of Sniper, which is going to be a bit harder. So no big blinking heroes aside from Centaur now that can really get a hold of this Sniper. So pressure is going to be on here for Infinity to get a hold of a prominent SN hero who can take down a Sniper and deal with his long-range positioning. And they actually ban out Spectre. Spectre would have been someone I would have considered. But they're not going to go for it. So this could be Moon Meander's grab here on the side of complexity. Faceless Void could be ran in the off lane, and then they could go with Sniper mid to contest this Razor. And Sand King, Skywrath Mage can roll together in the bottom. Skywrath alone should be able to do reasonable work zoning back this Centaur from getting a whole lot, but Centaur then again, of course, with the early boots or Stout Shield could be able to soak in the damage. As long as he gets a fair amount of health regen, it shouldn't be too bad. But also look for Infinity Stack to move very aggressively from the start into the complexity jungle. You want to be able to get down some nice wards, and being able to take away that farm potential from Sand King is pretty big also. They ban out Bat Rider here. That's weird. I would have figured that Centaur would be their off lane. But I guess they're maybe thinking that they will not go with an additional late game core and go for more pick-off potential there on grabbing a hold of the Sniper. I mean, Bat Rider does serious work against Sniper, don't get me wrong, but I guess now I'm more curious to see how Infinity round this out. I would have figured it'd be someone to contest the late game, but maybe they can just kind of over-amplify their early and mid game to not allow complexity to get very far. Mind you, also, a Slark is still in the pool and has been something that Moonman has been fiending on recently. And he's had pretty hot and cold success with it. Medusa's another hero that they love to go for, who can also do some work. And PA is going to be the core pickup, so they are going to go with late game potential, and she can gap close a little bit with Phantom Strike, so she can get into the face of Sniper, which that's the last place Sniper wants to be with, is huge damage coming in their face. That sounded pretty dirty, not going to lie. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. But to round things out, this could be Moon Meander's core grab to play in the safe lane. I already talked about how Slark is still available in the pool, Medusa as
10
well.
seconds remaining.
Medusa has been run side by side with Faceless Void before, but
5 seconds
without
remaining.
any sort of mana degen on the side of Infinity, it could be something they could consider here.
Reserve
No
time.
more fling. Naga Moon does play, but I don't know if they're looking to really run with the late game or not. They could just continue like a snowball thing. But Slark can't do a whole lot. They need someone who could do something from the outside. Weaver is something that kind of pops out. A ranged core. I mean, Sniper already works so nice with Chronosphere as it is that maybe it's not necessary. They're milking the clock. Or maybe they already know what they want and they're just kind of taking the extra time to think about it, of course.
10
But
seconds
down to
remaining.
10 seconds remain. We're going to find out just in a moment indeed who it will be. And it's going to be a gyrocopter. So they are going to go with a ranged core. And call down can definitely do a lot of work. You know, given that they get caught out with a pretty big chrono. And overall works good with the closed space that a lot of these Infinities wants to go for. But yeah, I guess homing missile also works nicely. Get caught on the Witch Doctor and his ult's going to be taken down quickly. Interesting to see gyrocopter a la carte without the wisp though. So nice obscure draft coming out from the side of Complexity. We'll see how the synergy ends up working. For Infinity, it's very, it's good. It's durable. They have a lot of healing potential here for, Phantom Assassin, given they could be adding a lot of pressure to the late game. But as long as Infinity can get work done, which you've seen him do
10 seconds
a lot
remaining.
on this Razor, they can also do some great sieging work. So we'll have to see how it goes, folks.
5 seconds remaining.
We're in game number 2 of today. I think I said gay there. Game number 2 of the day of 5. 5 best of ones here. It's the Summit 2 by G2A.com America. And without further ado, I guess I can lead off the introductions here. It's going to be on the side of Complexity.
Prepare
Mr.
for
Moon Meander
battle.
leading out the front on that core gyrocopter. I've seen him play this many a time on his own personal stream, so he is well versed and available and ready on this hero. Riser creeping in just behind, playing his Sand King, and Z-Freak once again on the Skywrath Mage. They love to prominently get a hold. That's so funny. They're calling out picks to each other as far as banking that they were going to go for a Lycan. Who called it out right there? Complexity thought. They might have banned it there at the end. Anyway, Z-Freak's going to be playing the Skywrath Mage. Complexity love to grab that hero first, especially when they have the first pick. Swindlemelon's going to be back again on his mid lane Sniper, and of course that will leave Limp on the off lane Faceless Void. We've seen big work come out of this guy, including his clockwork play. And he will actually... oh, you got to be kidding me. They want to watch Star Ladder? Come on, guys. I can't watch the game. You can't watch it either. Be by my side. Come on. Anyways, as far as cosmetic... I mean, we're really going to talk about cosmetics. This guy has none. It's pretty sad. But in reality, let me see. Is it a ping issue again? No, no ping issue. He's down there. McConnell's in that game. What's the problem? Oh, seems to be just server issues. I'm not getting any packet loss, so... Alright guys, sorry, looks like we're going to have to remake into CM. So, you're going to have to bear with me for a moment, as the players don't want to be risking what looks like the packet loss here. So, I'll throw it over to the first camera, and if you want to watch Star Ladder, my gnome friend here is still watching it, so you can just check it out on his laptop here while I reconnect to the game here, if you're not already watching it. Of course, on your own multi-twitch, which I appreciate it if you are. If you're multi-twitching this, I mean, I got the game over there, so I can't really hate on you too much. But we're going to get this game rehosted and back up underway. The packet loss was just a little too real right now, and let me just let them know we want to go quick and make it CM, because of course the creep spawn timer needs to stay the same, and we'll get back underway. And actually they're going to ask about playing West here between both the teams, and we'll get it going here. But hey, I mean, I guess if you're curious if what the rest is coming today, which I'm sure more people are going to be filing in as soon as Star Ladder does, conclude. And if you guys still want to watch more Dota action after that, if you can't get enough Dota 24/7 after this matchup between Complexity and Infinity Stack, we are going to have Navi US taking on Gerg Squad. Then Stay Free will take on Pain Gaming, and we'll finish the day with Union Gaming going against Turn My Swag On. So, here we go. Ready, we're all ready, Freddy, and we'll get ready to go. Starting game now, and we'll get back underway. And why don't I go and jump in here? My gnome friend can go back through the draft with me on the screen. Why not, right? So as the players do get loaded and back into this one, they're just going to fly through captain's mode. They might not do the same band, so apologies to Dat Dota for continuity reasons, I guess, as far as everything being in the same formation. But they're just going to fly on through because when you do AP instead, the creep spawns just don't work out, or they come quicker, so you don't have as much time to, let's say, roam through the opponent jungle and get down some wards, which is something Infinity Stack might consider here. Being a Sand King on the other team, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to kind of get rid of some of those camps so he can't really farm them up too early, or at least get the stacks in too early so he can get that Blink Dagger that much quicker. Came here for West Virginia. Hollow Burn, we'll give you some West Virginia in between games, I promise. Yeah, I think we're still having packet loss here, unfortunately, on what looks like the East Coast server. So teams are talking about, there's a sad face you could see from Infinity, but as they potentially move their way back through
Radiant team ban.
captain's mode, we'll see if we have to switch servers once more, but hopefully if we tough it out, we can get the job done here. So they are indeed just going to roll out some random bans and pick up what they had before. Faceless Void, a Ben, PA, Skywrath Mage. Complexity also had, of course, what was it? Sniper. Moon Meander is going to be playing Gyrocopter. But they're still asking about potential server switches right here, the packet loss.
Dire team ban. Dire team ban.
Alright, let me just...
Razor.
Radiant team pick.
Don't judge my typing skills. Oh, they all just left before I could even type to them. Unbelievable. Alright, looks like we're going to have to do US West. Jesus Christ. Okay, creating lobby once more here, and this time we are going to try the US West server, as East has been giving problems. So we will indeed give West Virginia, I guess. Or at least just the West server. So let's hit OK. Now you get to see the behind the scenes here of us trying to get this together. These are the reasons why we typically have behind the schedule. But normally I don't stream all this stuff. Normally I would know ahead of time during the drafting phase where we do rehosts and get things back and underway. So if you want to know exactly what takes so long to get together, we have to make sure everyone is in their spot ready to go. Configurations are all correct and ready. And we'll be good here. And I got to make sure they're okay. Our default server typically is US East for America games unless both teams are okay with the server. Alright, they say they're okay. Go, go, go. Don't yell at me. We'll go. If things go really bad, we can postpone the game, of course. Alright, don't yell. Fans getting rambunctious, viewers getting rambunctious. Listen, I'm just a caster. I'm just here to talk about the game. Get the game back and underway. I know your precious commons, uncommons, arcanas are all on the line, but here we go. Back into captain's mode once more. We'll fly through the draft and hope that the ping issues are more resolved here. As here we go, back and underway. Infinity Stack taking on Complexity, both teams in the upper half of this round robin of the America Division. Complexity there at the top, looking to be the first team with 5 wins.
Dire team ban.
And it looks like they don't have any complaints about this
Dire
one.
team ban.
And they'll look to push on in.
Phantom assassin.
Sand King.
Witch Doctor.
Sniper.
Radiant team ban.
War Runner.
Radiant team pick.
And Gyrocopter. Rounds out the last grab right there for Complexity Gaming. Moon Meander was on it. We'll get back and underway. Luckily, nothing really happened in the last game, so they don't know exactly what the game plan is for the other side. I'm banking that Infinity are going to move aggressively, at least towards the bottom, and go into the opponent jungle, and we'll see if Complexity look to contest. So, with that said, we're back and underway. We have moved on to a West Coast server, which is better for me, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's what the players want, and we want no packet loss, so we had to change things over, but we're finally going to get underway here. Complexity, we'll go through the introductions once more. They actually did change up the lane. Z-Freak originally was heading towards that bottom area, but now he's heading top. Skywrath Mage is going to be limp just behind on your Faceless Void. Swindle Melons is playing Sniper in the mid, and it's going to be Moon pushing well in, quickly scouts and pings out. That rotation I was counting on from Infinity Stack. He's playing that Gyrocopter, and nearby it's going to be Razor playing the Sand King. So here we go. Infinity moving in. They got plenty of wards on hand. What are they going to block out, and where are they going to block it? And we'll see if Complexity gets sentries of their own. There's going to be one right there. That removes that camp. If they move through, they can put one right frickin' here and block out that cap over there. But instead, they get the Obs ward here at the bottom. So that's two different ways to block out that camp. And, well, they have to hope that they can put a couple of sentries in good areas to deward it. But that's going to be the only stuff it looks like. They're not going to get much else. And it looks like Infinity are just going to pull back for now. And with that underway, there's not going to be any early tussles. Z-Freak's going to scout out the top room, while we might see a possible scout out right here. MJW right on top of it.
The battle
He's sitting on the
begins.
room right now. Pops up, it's going to be a bounty. My bounty. I'm Centaur.
Light
And he'll take it back to lane.
me.
It looked like they were possibly running with an aggro try here, and it looks like that is going to be it. No? I don't know. Both supports creeping on in here, and there it is. There's the ward. So now it's going to block this camp. This camp's fucking blocked. That's two camps taken away from the Sand King. So that does nerf him down a bit unless he gets the sentries, which it doesn't look like they have. Skywrath Mage is heading towards the bottom, but he doesn't have a sentry on hand. He doesn't have a sentry. They both don't have gold for sentries. Those camps are going to be out for a little bit. Snot already leveling in his stun. Creeping on here on the bottom, scouting it out on the side. So they are going with an aggro try. They're going to try to prevent Moon from getting a whole lot, but they don't know where the other supports are. So they're waiting to see where they are, and it looks like Z-Freak is going to make his trip from top all the way to bottom, and they're going to go try on try in this bottom lane. That's still not too favorable for Moon, who needs to be more focused on getting CS. He's going to have a Centaur constantly in his face now, and that's going to be a bit troublesome. But still, Skywrath Mage is going to do what he does best, and that's zone him back, harass, throw out the early Arcane Bolts, and make sure he stays away. While it's going to be Faceless Void going with him toe-to-toe with Infinity on this Razor, and that's a matchup Infinity loves. He's already zoning him back pretty hard right there. And just with that, he takes in a little bit of extra damage, which will certainly help with the last hits. And that leaves PA in the mid lane going against Sniper. Now, PA is probably going to get harassed pretty heavily here because of Sniper's shot. She has two more shared tangos, and Sniper should be able to get some reasonable CS in, but PA also hits pretty hard. She's at the top right now, 7-2. Sniper's 5-0. It's pretty even, but it looks like we are going to have another frickin' pause. Fantastic. A sec, apparently, for MJW, who needs to change up his hotkeys. So at least it's not server-related. And we'll get back and underway. So we'll see. It's more on Infinity Stack to try to prevent anything that Moon Meander can get done. And he's not always going to have the benefit of these two supports nearby. Sand King eventually needs to go off and get something else done. He's not a kind of support that likes to hang around too long in this lane. Otherwise, the three of them are splitting XP, and they're not really getting anywhere. And they need those precious levels. I mean, Skywrath Mage at some point needs to get his level 6. Sand King needs to get a couple of levels in Sandstorm to even start doing the jungle. And he only is level 1 right now. Barely almost level 2. So, with that said, 2-minute room pops up into DD, quickly snagged up by Snod there on the bottom. That leaves the bounty unattended there at the top lane with yet anyone to go over. Which there is vision here for Complexity, so Swindle, if he can find an opportunity to go over there, he will. But he's going to need to push his lane forward first and foremost. He loves to level up this Shrapnel, and he will constantly use it if possible. But for now, he's getting a lot of daggers. You know, PA, man. she can always find the farm. If not with a right click, that dagger, such a low mana cost, and it can actually do reasonable damage, reasonable enough to get some last hits in. So, guys, please, spoilers. I haven't watched the VODs. I haven't watched anything. Why you gotta come in and spoil everything? I mean, I guess I was expecting it. So, it is what it is. I'll just watch the games later. For now, though, trying to keep Moon back. He's only at 7, which isn't that great when you consider how much the other lane's getting it done. I mean, Infinity is now 13-5. Void is 9-3. So 2 lanes where there's a slight advantage going for Infinity. And the bottom, Centaur, is 8-2. So he's finding a little bit of something, but Moon quickly pulls out the flak, and he's going to try to bully them back and bully the whole lane all the way back and under the tower. And this is more time now for MJW to get something. So no one really suffering except for these supports. But these supports, they're fine with just soaking in the XP. They don't need that early bit of farm. The tools they have are more than enough to really help out. And this Centaur is not going to be taken down anytime soon. Not with the Zabadan lingering nearby. It's just going to take too much. Even a Burrow Strike will be quickly taken out with that shield. So now Sand King will leave that bottom lane like we were expecting. And he needs to start building him some stacks. He's going to start way over here. Way far away. So it's just the 2 of them down here. And Infinity Stack could consider making a move aggressively here in this bottom lane at some point. Or what do I know? MJW could be waiting all the way until his level 6 and getting Stampede. And there's your regen. Going to be grabbed up there from SN. Bottom lane leaves the bounty where Z-Freak is currently camping it. So that Swindle can kind of creep his way in. You know, very slow sniper here. No boots. Moving slow. There are my boots. Little Owl's bringing my boots to me. Sniper will be able to get those. Go right back to the mid lane. And continue additional harassment with that Shrapnel, which he's now taking up to level 3. He's going to keep dishing it out. Maybe even get some early hits in on this tier 1 tower. It'd be a nice little investment towards some reliable gold in the near future. And he already eats a dagger. Hey, welcome back to the lane. Here's a dagger for you, says SN. Limp in the top off-lane position is 13-3. Went with the 2-1-2 build-up for now on his Void. And Infinity, who's getting the best out of it so far, though, is 24-10. A lot of denies coming out from this Razor, as he gets the early band of Elf Skin. So I just imagine for now that's reliable damage and then could be moved into Power Treads, it looks like. And we'll see if he decides to go with the mech build or straight to Agnums. How he likes to do his Razor up. Swindle, as you can see, there it is. The Shrapnel already doing early work on that tower, while SN is just going to continue to try to CS it up. She's second right now in CS, 26-6, with Swindle right behind at 20-1. Centaur is about to get level 4, but still not getting as much XP as he'd like. They are sharing this tri-lane XP still, so he's not getting a lot as far as levels go. And now you're going to see 2 TPs to the top lane. Wow, that right at the same time. They want to take down this Razor. So Limp might try to bait them back. He is not level 6 yet, but they could wait for it. He gets 1 more creep, maybe 2. There's his 6. They're going to go right for it. Infinity gets caught with it, and the follow-it-up will be Riser with a Burrow Strike. Can he time it out nice? Doesn't really need to yet, but there it is. And they will... Oh, the TP in from Lust with the shield. That's what you do. When you're playing a hero like Abaddon, when you're playing a hero like Dazzle, and you got to be the true babysitter and the lifesaver, you got to do stuff like that. He's got his TP ready to go. He comes right in, pulls out the shield, and Infinity will live. And now the investment that was put out from Complexity is to nothing. The Chrono, the rotation of both supports, and they're trying to make the best of it. Riser quickly moves to the side to Sandstorm up those creeps, but Z-Freak is going to have to take a long walk from top, potentially all the way to bottom here. And Gyro's been left alone, and now Infinity know that. So they might add some pressure here, or at least they should consider it. As Moon is still doing not too bad, though. 23-3 CS. Mid lane, dagger flies out there on Swindle. Just continue harassment here. Not too much action here in the mid lane, just more focus farm happening. PA is now moving up to 34-9 to Swindle's 27. Infinity is at 40-19. After that small skirmish, he gets his power treads, and he can still hold strong in this top lane, now knowing that Chronosphere is not available. But Snog, look at Snog. What a guy. Right there to heal him on up. Here's a Voodoo Restoration for you. And he's got a level 2. Such a great ability early on. And it actually doesn't even cost that much mana. He's making it work right now. He heals MJW damn near full life, and only spends about half his mana for it, given that he is using a Clarity at the same time. Still, though, no need to kind of restore up with any sort of Tango Salve, Battle, what have you. He's going to be right there. No trip to the fountain. And Z-Freak makes his return back to the bottom lane to aid Moon. So we're getting ready to approach the 8-minute mark without a first blood yet. All is quiet on the western front. And I say that because we're on the western server. Anyways, for the first time, Swindle is not going to see someone on the other side. It actually is a rotation to the bottom where PA is looking to get involved to get a nice stun off for now. Silent's going to be there on MJW, and he tries to desperately pull out the gunshots, and it's not going to happen. And, well, Moon ends up being your first blood. It's going to be Infinity +4 who strike first, taking down the precious Gyrocopter core. And that first rotation coming in from SN definitely pays off. And now a DD. The Magic Blueberry Rune going to be grabbed up from SN there on the bottom. She loves seeing that. Well, they might want to go for a counter of their own. Limp pulls out the Chrono. Top lane. And the Shrapnel. Can they get assassinated off early? They do, but look who it is again. Little Lust with the TP ready to go. Saves his Infinity friend once more. This time, though, Infinity will push himself all the way back to the fountain where he has his bracer. He's going to go right for the drums. Blinking all the way in, taking advantage of that DD. He sees Z-Freak and kills him. SN, man. Quickly capitalize on a support in this mid lane and takes him down. Man, Infinity looking so good at the start of this one. They get 2 different kills, and 2 different times Lust is right there to aid Infinity on the top lane with that shield. And this could prove to be a little frustrating for Complexity at the start of this one. They're going to have to shake it off. Coming up short 2 different times on the top lane and losing Moon earlier on the bottom can be a bit of a struggling start.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Morally
attack.
as well, so it's not going to happen. Now Centaur is level 6. He's going to make his own rotation to the top. They might make it go on Swindle. Oh, they're not. I thought he could have called Stampede and made a run at him, but that's not going to be the case. He's going to turn around, put out a Shrapnel, but without Infinity quite here yet, they're not going to make it go. But regardless, the rotation allows them to finish off their own tower. It's going to be denied. So that's your first structure takedown of the game, but it will be denied out, and Complexity will lose a little bit of that gold. So things continue to go very well here for Infinity at the start of this one. Still very early to tell. When we switch over to net worth, you can see PA's at the top, Swindle right behind, and then your Centaur. And Infinity slowly creeping on up. Meanwhile, you can see Sna, he's done for, so he's going to try to get denied from Roche. And they're going to wait it out, and it will be Sand King who does get the last hit in. So Riser is able to get Complexity now on the board. Meanwhile, they run past the tower. They want Swindle Melons here using that Stampede. Can they take him down? He's very low. But SN is kind of locked in the corner, it looks like. Dagger, is he going to be able to jump on through here? They focus fire PA, and now this engagement will probably go bad for them, and it will. SN falls right there, and they end up taking down 2. Centaur and PA at the back end of also taking down the Witch Doctor. Gets Complexity from a 0-2 deficit up to 3-2. So good turnaround for them. That squares things right back up and even. As you can see, it was starting to get pretty nice for Infinity, but Complexity able to hold their composure in the early game. And they benefit from that. Limp is also getting pretty close. He can get his mask here momentarily and get a hold of Mask of Madness in the near future. Swindle happy to live from that one. We'll just continue to find these neutral camps while Moon Meander returns back to bottom. And it looks like he's going to go right for the Helm of the Dominator. So look for him to try to get some stacks early in on these Ancients with the benefit of that creep and get it done. But looking to flank in. Moon considers moving from the lane, but not going to be there in time. Riser, now he's getting pretty near close as Blink Dagger. 12 minutes. It's not going to be the best time ever, but considering his camps were warded out at the start, and overall they were constantly moving about for some ganks that didn't come out to anything, he still will find the potential to put together that Blink Dagger, and I imagine he'll want to put it to use right away. That kill on Sna certainly helped. Now they're making a go here on SNPA. Silenced up, runs off to the left side. Z-Freak's still on the hunt. Long assassination shot, not going to be enough to finish her off. She is bottling along the way, and even grabs an illusion rune. Very convenient for her, and that leaves the bounty rune for Witch Doctor here on the bottom. Sna takes that, returns back to the bottom, where it looks like Centaur has just picked up his own Blink Dagger. So we got Blink here on Centaur, and a Blink now completed on your Sand King. This might be a nice clash.
Radiant's bottom tower
Ah,
is
yes,
under
more people are
attack.
filing in from the Starladder final. Yes, please, come on in, find a seat. And, well, it looks like you will proceed to talk shit about who everyone actually bet on in the Starladder finals.
Radiant's
Regardless,
bottom
we
tower
welcome you.
is under attack.
Welcome to Beyond the Summit, the Summit 2 America division. We're in game number 2, by the way. It's Complexity taking on the Infinity stack. Both these teams looking pretty good here in the division so far.
Dire's
Complexity are
structures
currently
are
sporting a
fortified.
4-1 record. They're looking to be the first team to have 5 wins. And Infinity are currently 3-2. They're still in the top 4, but they would love to do a lot more. Meanwhile, they make a jump in. Burrow Strike catches 2, and they finish off SN. Very nice grab for them. Snod's going to have to go on the retreat, but they also see Infinity, and they catch him with the Chronosphere, and it's going to be Limp who's able to lock him down. MJW scoots on in. They do manage to take down Moon, but really at what cost? As they lose 4, potentially to lose 5, as Lust is going to have to rely on his borrowed time, it looks like, to keep him alive, and there it is. They're just going to follow him now. Oh boy, see you later. Make it 5 all day in exchange for the Moon Meander Gyrocopter. It's Complexity who get a lot done in this mid lane. Put the tower on top of that, and man, oh man. It looked like a shaky start there for Complexity, being 0-2, and Infinity preventing them from getting the pickoffs there on top lane
Radiant's
and finding
bottom
pickoffs
tower
of their
is
own.
under
But
attack.
now pushing well in ahead, 8-3, and damn near a 5K advance. Complexity quickly turned this game back on its head. Moon Meander now has his Helm of the Dominator, and he used it. I don't see where the creep is yet. Might be using it to scout elsewhere, I'm not too sure. Where's that creep going? Is that the creep? I think that's the creep. And they're pinging it. That's the creep. Oh, ow! Ow! The creep gets daggered! And he's still rolling his way. I think that's the dominated creep, it looks like. Yeah, okay, well. Yeah, he's going right up towards the secret. I don't know why I'm getting so attached, but now it looks like he's on scouting duty. Not exactly the creep you want to put there. He'll just die immediately trying to go for a stack, but he'll have to wait another 10 seconds so he can get a new one. Meanwhile, top lane, we might see a potential engagement. Riser, who has his epicenter ready to go. They're not going to have, but they're going to go for it anyway. Jump in, Epi, and the time walk over. MJW is a big bad Brad, but can he get away from this one? Stampede certainly does help, and they do. And jumping on in is going to be SN and Lust, and they quickly take down Faceless Void. Now making it go on Riser. Infinity's there, but they don't have detection. Oh, the swift jump out coming out from Riser. Gets him away from that nuke, but Snot catches him. Throws out the cast. Burrow Strike puts him even further into the trees, though. And eventually they do drop the ward, and they get him off with a miscoil. And now firing back is going to be the Infinity stack, taking down 2. Swindle Melons now waltzes himself down to the bottom lane here. Towards Lust. Uh-oh. Lust might be in pressure here. Quickly pulls out shield. Borrowed time is going to be procced. Swindle's still going to pop up the assassinate, as it did happen after the borrowed time, so he's now going to just be really wounded and might have to second guess pushing towards the tower. Swindle knows that, so he'll start making work. Meanwhile, top lane, you're going to see the Chronosphere fly out. Catches on 2 very nicely. They quickly take down both Infinity and Sna at the back end of that one with great quick rotations. It looks like Infinity getting a bit greedy trying to get this tier 1, and now they lose 2. Plus, the tower is going to get denied eventually as Z-Freak muscling it in. Man, it takes like 8-9 shots right there to take it down, but eventually Z-Freak does get the deny. So that keeps Complexity on top. And Infinity, just trying to get their first tower, ends up being a deny and a lost fight. Crumbling stuff for them right now is SN. Looks like he's going to go for a Helm of the Dominator himself. So a bit of a mirrored build coming out from your PA and your Moon Meander. But Moon Meander, look at this. I mean, he's had his Helm of the Dominator for quite a while, and he's currently cleaning out the stack, man. He's got the farm on his side. And even beating him out as far as net worth is Swindle on his sniper at 7K. So you got 2 big late game dominators who are coming on the rise a little bit sooner. And when you compare that to PA, who has just got the helm, and Infinity, who is looking to build towards his Agnums after completing his drums, I don't know. They're going to need to start bringing some fights their way. And Z-Freak gets a nice D-ward here. Infinity will not be able to have that extra bit of vision, and they're going to be forced to pull back right now. But you never know. These fights could definitely turn around quite significantly. I mean, we talked about in the draft how the Death Ward, if placed appropriately, especially going against the Chronosphere, can do Nice uncontested damage. And an engagement from Complexity could quickly blow up in their face. Infinity sees Faceless Void, scares him away, and Limp steps back. Limp, by the way, he has his Mask of Madness, he has his gloves. He's going to go right for the Maelstrom build. Not stopping off for any sort of unnecessary early BKB. He wants to go right for the damage. Uh-oh, Z-Freak's going to spot MJW here. They ping it out, and he's going to have to blink away. It looked like MJW wanted to make a surprise attack there, but that's not going to be the case. Scouting out with Shrapnel. Man, what a spot to scout out with, too. Swindle Melons. Just like, don't be in there. I'll Shrapnel you, buddy. And it looks like potentially Complexity just kind of want to start taking objectives here. They have a couple congregated down here. But still a relatively quiet game. Limp returns back here to the top lane, where Lust is getting a bit of solo farm himself. Limp is like, I'll just get as many hits in as possible. Man, he's getting the RNG. He bashes him once. Uh-oh. Is he stuck? Okay, now he goes back. And Limp is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Abaddon's getting aggressive. That might mean people are nearby here.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
He just kind of pulls back. It looks like Infinity think he has a ward because he pulls back, so they put down the sentry, which he doesn't. So they're not going to get anything with that sentry, unfortunately. And it looks like SN while farming. Oh, this could be bad. Now, Sniper doesn't provide lockdown. Otherwise, this would be an easy kill with the Mystic Flare. So they're not going to grab SN, who does pull back regardless. A couple of Complexity people missing from the map, so you got to play a little more hesitant. Sand King will be the one to bait himself out in the lane for now. They are still patiently waiting for this on the side. Don't want to show themselves just yet. Nearby, you got SN farming up the Ancient Camp. Lust moving on through. Mid lane. MJW and Snuff just kind of hanging side by side. Not really getting a whole lot. Finally, Complexity pull out from that side lane. And looking to scout out. Throws his shrapnel over by the Ancient area, which nothing's happening right now. And SN makes his return back to lane. And they're still waiting, and he's going to go for it. Epicenter blink in, catches here. Huge damage. That's the lockdown you need for a Skywrath Mage, and they make quick work of SN before he can get anything off. But nice quick blink coming up from MJW. Locks Riser in his place, and at least they'll be able to get a return kill there. Infinity take down the Sand King after losing their SNPA. So, still a well-worthy trade. Though it looks like Infinity as a whole gain a little bit more gold from it. They take down that core. Look at this, a smoke. A smoke and Stampede ready to go with a Death Ward. And they will head right towards that top lane. They want to take down Limp. Do they have enough to stop him? That's the question. They're going to have to get a Hoof Stomp and a decent Death Ward off. And he doesn't have Maldic yet, so there's your Hoof Stomp, there's your... He's actually over-anticipating, pulls right straight back, and that leaves Limp towards the top. Yeah, and I don't think there was any way they were going to grab that one. I was trying to be a bit over-optimistic for them. That's just, they're going to need a lot more lockdown if you want your Death Ward to do a lot, especially without having Maldict either and being close enough to get that off. Faceless Void is just too slippery. He'll just kind of step out. And once again, man, Moon Meander working on a serious stack right here. It's enough of a stack to actually make him kind of double back a bit. But this could secure a BKB for him. Man, 4K gold he's about to get. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now he's going to finish off his BKB. And this Gyrocopter is getting pretty damn farmed. And Razor, though, Infinity, has a reasonable net worth himself with 3K gold. Could finish out his Agnes right now if he wanted to, but it looks like he's holding a bit of it. But now they're making another go, it looks like on Limp, but Limp is back with a vengeance. He is pushing on in forward. His Chrono was already used to take MJW that low, but they take out MJW and Sna in exchange as the rotation comes from Z-Freak and Swindle Melons. They just kind of shoot that Centaur down and finish off the little pesky Witch Doctor support. Complexity still get the better of it. 13-6 your new score. Checking over the net worth, they still control it since like the 6-minute mark. Now pushing towards the 8-9K mark. Man, oh man. PA getting a BKB of her own, but not nearly as far along as Gyrocopter is. Has the Ogre Club, but still trying to get anything else. They clearly have vision as he snipes him down. And now they're going to begin to slowly siege a bit of damage here on this tier 2 on the top lane. Riser does have his Epicenter ready to go, but I don't know if they're thinking engagement or not. They opt to pull back instead.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
While Moonmeander just... He's ready for the late game, man. He just completed his BKB, and he's about to have 2k gold. It's kind of the same playstyle we saw with his Medusa, where he just wasn't
Radiant's
really...
bottom tower
He didn't care
is
to get
under
involved in
attack.
too many of the team fights. And for how well their team's doing without him, he doesn't look to it regardless. He'll just be able to finish it all off, and once he starts bringing in big damage, which...
Dire's top
Could be
tower
soon.
is under attack.
I mean, he could go for a reliable Yasha. He can just go straight for an MKB. Actually, he probably just get an MKB. That will take care of the blur here on SN. And Gyrocopter would be able to unleash huge
Dire's
damage
top
without having to
tower
worry
has
about it.
fallen.
And they do end up finishing off this tier 2 on the top. Looking to go on the hunt is Infinity. They're trying to get a hold of Moon, but Moon's not there. He's already headed back, and there's already 2 stacks built up right here. His little wizard friend is actually doing some serious work, bringing in the stacks. Oh, here we go. They want to make a fight here, and they will. They pull back immediately. Wow. Well, they got this nice ward right here behind the tower that shows the rotations coming in, and they don't want to get involved with whatsoever, and that's probably the right call to make. Riser was going to have his epicenter with a blink and 4 staff ready to go. Moon Meander with his BKB, and he is going to go right for the MKB. It's all about the bar gaming right now for Moon Meander. He's got his Demon Edge already, looking to pick up a couple of javelins and be able to complete out that extra true damage. And then SN, it gets very scary. And I have to say, the pressure is definitely on here. Infinity stack to kind of pull something together. Swindlemelon's also, man, he's got a Manta. So he'll be able to Manta off any sort of negative buff, including something like Maldic or whatever, in case he gets caught in that. But as long as the initiation comes out pretty nicely here from Limp, Limp just kind of lays down a decent Chronosphere, which he might do right now. I mean, he does have Sna lingering behind. If he jumps in with a Chrono, Sna could drop a Death Ward. Things could get pretty interesting, and they are going to go in. Jump in, Epi. There's the Death Ward, I'd hope, after a cask. Could lock him in place very nicely. Sna, man, what a player. Oh, they're going to be able to take down Faceless Void in exchange. They will. They lose Sna regardless. But, I mean, for Infinity to at least get that out of it is something. I don't think they were banking on that much excessive damage coming on through, as Infinity will end up falling, but the cask throws out, locks them in their place long enough for the Death Ward to do big damage. Now, that's only a level 1 Death Ward. Had that been level 2, they might have been able to take them down first, but unfortunately the levels are just not quite there for Sna. And it looks like they'll just kind of push in this bottom lane after taking down the 2 of them, because PA is not looking to fight, so this will secure another objective for them.
Dire's bottom tower
And
is
it looks
under
like
attack.
Infinity might be
Dire's
banking on some
bottom
big
tower
comeback
has
potential on
fallen.
the back of this PA at this point. Z-Freak with a
Radiant's
wealth of
middle
wards on
tower
him.
is
Really,
under
really
attack.
sporting the ward bitch roll right here, as he will... I thought he was going to put down a ward to at least get the Roche area available, if maybe it's something they consider. But it doesn't look like it. Let's touch base with Moon. Moon's got 2.5k nearly, and it looked like he had just cleared out his own stacks. So he's pretty close to this MKB. So he'll wait for that, and I'm sure they're going to go on a big pushing spree themselves. Wow, that is a 26-minute Midas coming out from Lust. I guess he's that anxious to make sure he builds in some extra levels and farm himself. That's interesting. And I'm just going to leave it at that, as he'll just try to bring in more gold. I mean, they could certainly use a mechanism. They could certainly use maybe an extra 4 staff or 2. A Yule's would be nice, but he's going to be put out a little bit with that Midas. And if the timing works out for Complexity, they get that MKB together, and then they go for a push. It could be rough, but now Infinity, Limp just kind of crosses his path with that time walk there. Was he actually going for him? I don't know. Probably was. I mean, they had Z-Freak there. He just kind of crosses his path, but doesn't quite get him. And Infinity just kind of walks away. And there's your MKB now complete on Moon. SN, this is the contender for the late game. BKB now complete for her, but damage not nearly on par. 96 plus 68, and you compare that to Moon's 100 plus 156 damage. It's quite ridiculous. And he puts that damage out onto everyone. He doesn't need to worry about any sort of cleave or battle fury. The flat cannon, which he has maxed out, in fact, is at the point where he went with stats and no homing missile whatsoever. Homing missile is for babies. He's just going to be doing huge damage. Anyone caught in a chrono is just going to crumble. This is going to get ugly. If Complexity get off the team fight they want, I'd have to definitely say more pressure to Infinity to try to make it work. And Limp is going to scout out Lust here. Lust has got to get it on the retreat. Limp is just mawing him down. That forces out the borrowed time. And if he wants, he could try to catch both with a chrono. He gets the one instead. Infinity's there, but he just kind of expends the chrono instead to take out the Abaddon. And Abaddon falls, I mean, with Midas up and ready. That's unfortunate. And now look at this. Moon creeping on through. He might lead things off with a nice drop down. And here we go. Burrow strike. Not even call down needed. Just simply right clicks down Infinity. And that's a killing spree for Moon. Complexity look damn good right now. They got lots of farm. And they got the game going any way they want. And it looks like they're going to just take this down mid lane. And already leading it off is going to be Swindle with that shrapnel, and he's going to start doing big damage from the back, because look at that. He is also going to get a hold of an MKB himself. He's got his Demon Edge ready to go. And your BKB is now complete on your Void after I'm sure he finished that Maelstrom, and that is the case. And now trying to desperately split push the bottom lane. It looks like Infinity are going to have to return here. And they're going to start slow sieging from the low ground, because really what can Infinity do at this point as far as engagement? Their only initiation right now is MJW, and he is farming the bottom. And I doubt PA wants to kind of push outside the base to go for anything. In fact, I think Complexity actually look like they have such a huge advantage at this point. They could win a team fight. They could just go to Roche, do Roche, and if a fight comes their way, they'll be happy to take it. All they have to do is maybe keep Sand King or Faceless Void on the outside. And it'll be good, but it looks like that might not be the case. Instead, creeping on bottom. MJW still with his TP, just kind of lingering about. He also has his own BKB, which, you know, is nice. It will prevent the heavy damage coming out from the Sand King and the Skywrath Mage, but that doesn't stop the other three. Gyro, Faceless, and Sniper all can do big work even through a BKB. And here we go. For the third time this game, we're going to see Moon Meander just kind of ridiculously farm out this Ancient stack, man. And I thought he was going to get ready to go with just an MKB, but he ain't done yet. He might just go straight for his Satanic right now. He's got 2.5k towards what I imagine being that Reaver. Oh, man. Limp top lane is going to be scouted out from Lust. Infinity just kind of moving on through here. Can they catch up? They see Limp here with this ward. But he's already on the run out, and they can't get a hold of him. And they'll have to double back instead towards this mid lane. And Complexity might actually consider now going for a push here. Complexity's been a team that they just like to play it safe when they're up and ahead. Meanwhile, top lane, you're going to see Limp go toe-to-toe with Lust. Centaur had already fallen in the hands of Sand King. And we are going to see Lust go down here. Just quick work right there. Meanwhile, on the bottom, it was Centaur who did get taken out there from Sand King. Level 3 Epicenter, putting it to work right away. And that's supposed to be the big bad initiator for the side of Infinity stack, and they both fall. And with the advantage in numbers, they just kind of easily move themselves into the Roche pit. I mean, they could have gone for a push, but like I was saying, Complexity, when they're up and ahead, they like to play it safe. We've seen them wait to the point of having a 40k gold lead before they actually get the job done. Right now, they have a over 20k gold lead. They just love to suffocate their opposing team. And they want to be to a point when there is just no chance of a comeback.
Has fallen to the Radiant.
When all the stars align, if you will. Buybacks are ready, Aegis available, all the items you could ever ask for. I mean, now Moon has his Reaver. And then, maybe then, they will look to make a push towards the high ground and end this game.
Shrapnel!
That's just their playstyle, man. And you know what? I guess what's important is getting the win. Swindlemelon out front, but they're happy to bait with him because he has that Aegis. So if they jump on him and they expend a lot of abilities, they're not going to have anything left for the real fight. And for now, they get the deny, but he has just been shooting from the low ground. Limp eats a stun. Gets locked briefly, but look at this. They can't even do anything to the Faceless Void. And it's really just kind of complexity just creeping in. Gonna get the shot off, but that will actually trigger his borrowed time. Wow. Infinity need to do something. They're smoking. Maybe they go for a flank play. Maybe they go for a surprise right now, but they need to get something done because they are just going to be slowly suffocated at this point. SN is not ready. Does not have the damage she wants. Jump in, hoof stomp, catches limp. So here we go, running in BKB. Mystic Flare, not going to do a lot to that BKB, but the Chrono's going to lock him in that place. It locks 3, and Moon accidentally walks into the Chronosphere, but it doesn't matter. Now he can unload that damage, and it just slowly takes apart Infinity. And Infinity right there at the end does fall. It's going to be force a buyback now coming out from SN. That 2K advancement she had been holding for to get a damage item will now have to be spent into a dire defense before they lose a potential set of racks. And Swindle, who has yet to even use his first life, is just going to mow him on down. And now the follow-up Epicenter cleans out PA. 80 seconds out of the game, no buyback. Make it 5 all day, and that's enough. Complexity, man. They look damn good. And it was a start from Infinity that put them ahead about 6-1. And Complexity just kind of had the game. Moon Meander farmed out of his mind throughout the whole jungle and got to a point when really there was no stopping him. And they put together a pretty nice draft as well. And for Infinity, unfortunately, they will fall short. And as far as records go, this will put them now at a 3-3 record, and Complexity will be the first team to obtain 5 wins. So they push themselves up to 5-1 and at the top of the charts, just next to Not Today, who are currently 4-0. So with that said, we're going to be moving on. We got 3 more games to go today. Our next matchup is going to be Navi US taking on the Gurg Squad. If you like what you heard, you can catch me over on my Twitter at CoddleGuy. My gnome friend here is just being my step-in as my co-caster, so show him some love. He does not have a Twitter, I believe. Maybe something with Expedia, I'm sure. Anyways, a pleasure as always. We'll throw it over to some music, and we'll be back in just a moment.